Howdy, howdy, folks. It is Diecast Buffet here again, and I have some great news for the channel. We'll be announcing a brand new gameplay series that's going to be coming on the channel, Diecast Buffet, and I'm really hyped about it, guys. This has been a series that I have wanted to do for years, and I'm talking years, and we're going to be talking about it in this video, so stay tuned. It's going to be a little bit long-winded, but we're going to be explaining what is going to be the most realistic, most amazing gameplay roleplay series you've ever seen in NASCAR gaming history. And yes, it has been in the works for years. So let's go ahead and hop into it. Alright, so the game of choice, it's going to be, I would say, a controversial one, but a lot of people don't like it, but I'm going to explain why. And you're going to like this. NASCAR 06 is coming to Diecast Buffet. In my opinion, the most fleshed out NASCAR game ever. Now, it doesn't have as much detail in terms of one series like NASCAR Thunder 04, but this one has 4 different series. You have modifieds, you have trucks, you have Busch series, and you have the Cup series. Not only can you own teams, you can race for teams. You have contracts, you have silly season. You actually have just, I mean, the whole game is so much fun. You can literally be a villain. You can be a hero. You have merchandising. You have so much just immersion in NASCAR 06. It is finally time to introduce this to the channel. So let's just go ahead and talk about it. What is going to make this gameplay series different than anything you've seen on YouTube? So if you look at my Thunder 04 playthrough that we've been doing since, what, late 2018, or early 2019, we've been doing it to just create a career. Not just to, oh, we're going to win the championship and then we're going to retire and float off into the sunset like most YouTube playthroughs. You know, I mean, to each their own, but I like to see a realistic playthrough that lasts years and years and years and actually is a career, not just get the most OP car possible and win the championship. So how this is going to work, we're going to do probably full 20 seasons on NASCAR 06. Yeah, you could do up to the year 2025, which is coming up in 2 years. I feel old. The idea is what we're going to do is my driver is going to start off in the Whelen Modified series like everyone does, but we're going to role play and be able to work our way through the series. And what's so beautiful about NASCAR 06 compared to some of the latter EA Sports games is that if you race like crap, your prestige doesn't go up, and the game dictates your contracts based on your prestige. So you actually have to race good in the Modified series to get a competitive truck ride in X, Y, and Z. So that's going to be interesting. How fast do we get to the Cup Series? Do we ever get to the Cup Series? Who knows? But what's going to make it different, and this is the point what I want to make, is that we're going to roleplay as a developmental driver in this series. So I did this back in 2013, 2014, just playing around the PS2, and I roleplayed as a Roush Fenway developmental driver. And how this works is basically you go into the Modified series, and then you get into the truck series, and you pick one truck and you race for them. You know, Roush, has some trucks in there, but I didn't race for them. I raced for one of the back markers. And what I did is I roleplayed, okay, we're only going to be able to race Busch with Ford, Busch series in the Fords, and then eventually work our way to the Cup series to race for Roush into the Fords. So you basically stick with one manufacturer through your path through the career mode, and you don't, deter from that. So imagine yourself like a Trevor Bayne when he was a developmental driver for Roush, or Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and you just follow that path. I've never seen anyone do this in NASCAR gaming before. This is something we're going to do in this playthrough. I don't know which team we're going to go with. That's the beauty of it. We could be a Dodge developmental driver. We could be the driver that potentially replaces Rusty Wallace or whoever at Team Penske. We could be a Ford driver. We could replace Elliott Sadler or Dale Jarrett at Yates. Or we could do the RCR route. We could replace Jeff Burton or whoever. Depending how the career mode goes and the contracts that come into it, that's how it's going to dictate it. It's not just going to be like, oh, okay, we're just going to be a Hendrick developmental driver and take Kyle Busch's ride 3 years into the playthrough. No, we're going to role play throughout it and see how it plays out. That's the beauty of it. This feature, you're going to love this. You're going to love this. Okay, so never in a NASCAR game, at least career mode aspect, has there ever been a DNQ system where when you qualify, you're always guaranteed. Every race, every gameplay, doesn't matter if you're literally dead last in points and you DNF 10 years straight. You're always guaranteed to race every race. Not with this playthrough. The rule we're going to have is you have to be top 35 qualifying as a rookie or a part-timer to make the race. So the way we're going to do this, I'm going to have to write all this stuff down so I can remember because it's going to be a lot. But let's just say we go to a Busch Series race at Texas. And let's say we're a rookie, right? It's our first full-time season, so we have no points. We have nothing to fall back on it. We have to or let's say we're a part-timer. We have to qualify top 35 or we go home. So essentially, if we qualified 36, I would forfeit the race or I would run the race and then quit it immediately so it gives me at least 43rd. Because if you simulate it, then it might give you a good finish. So I would make sure, even if I have to do this off camera, I would make sure that I finish dead last so I get next to no points or forfeit the race. That way, it's like I missed the show. So that's going to put an emphasis on qualifying. Now, some tracks you'll be able to really qualify really easily. That's great and all, but it's the tracks where you can't qualify good that's going to make it interesting. And then what I think we're going to do for the first full-time season is that if we're top 35 in points, we'll be able to maintain that. I don't know the rules of 2005, which that's the year the game's based off of because they've changed it so much since then. But I believe it's top 35 in the Cup Series. Might be different in the Busch Series. So let's say we go to Texas the second season in the Busch Series, and we're full-time. So if we're top 35 in points, we're locked in based on the top 35 rules. So we don't have to worry about that. However, if we struggle and we fall outside the top 35, then we're a go or go homer. That's a whole new dynamic to career mode because some of the racetracks could be super difficult to qualify at. Some of them are going to be really easy. This is going to change everything. So that's going to be a whole new dynamic to this career mode that I'm really excited about. And that's why I want to do this NASCAR 06 playthrough. I want to make it original, unlike anything else. And guess what? There's another feature that we're going to do with this career mode that has never been done before, guys. We're keeping it original on this channel. And again, this has been in the works for a long time. Get this. We're going to do a realistic bushwhacking schedule. So I see a lot of playthroughs on these NASCAR games. They get a great Cup Series ride and then they just sign a great Busch ride and they run every single Busch race on the schedule. What's the realism in that? I don't want to do that. No. What I'm going to do, let's say we sign a contract with, I don't know, Roush for the Cup Series. Well, what I'm going to do is we're gonna think of a random number. So let's say it's just 5. So if I sign with Roush, I get 5 Xfinity, or back then, Busch Series races, and I get to pick whatever 5 races I want. Well, if I sign with DEI or RCR, let's say I can get 7 Busch Series races. So do I want to sign with Roush in the Cup Series and only have 5 Busch rides per season, and I'll get to choose my schedule before the season starts? I'll be like, okay, I want to run Watkins Glen. I want to run Bristol Night. Heck, let's run Old Spice Speedway. Why not? Let's run Kansas. I don't care. We pick all of that. Or do I want to run maybe a little bit slower equipment, maybe at Childress, because they weren't exactly the Taj Mahal in 2005. They were good, but they weren't Roush Fenway good. But you get an extra 2 races that gives you more opportunity to get your prestige up and do X, Y, and Z. Now you might be thinking, well, that you can't do that in the game. When you sign a contract in the game, you have to run all the races. No, you don't. That's the beauty about this game. If you sign a contract with a team in the Busch Series or whatnot, and you miss a few races, they don't immediately get rid of you, so to speak. So it gives you a little bit of leeway. Now, if you run like the first race and the last race and miss 30-something races in between, yeah, you're going to miss out. However, we wouldn't be doing that. We would just pick a small handful of races, and then we would role play and go and race it. So what I used to do whenever I was playing, I would run, since I was a Roush guy, I would go and I would run like the Daytona February race in the Xfinity. I'd run Watkins Glen, Bristol Night race, maybe a Richmond, maybe even Texas, my home race, right? I would pick all these races before the season started, and then I would do it. I would even run some truck races as well, like trucks at Martinsville, trucks at Bristol. Ooh, I want to go run those races. So my point is, this is three dynamics that I've never seen in another NASCAR gameplay. And if someone's done it, let me know. But I've never seen someone role play to this extent in a NASCAR gameplay. And the beauty about it is NASCAR 06 has that feature. I mean, for crying out loud, you can actually do this in the game. You can buy a team like Bill Davis Racing in NASCAR 06, which is considered like a 25th place team most of the time. You can upgrade it and then run races, win a championship, and make the team worth a crap load. Sell it, and the team will still perform like they're, really good after you've already put the upgrades and investments in it. So essentially, you could actually change the dynamic of the whole racing circuit. You can make all the Dodges maxed out. You can make all the Fords maxed out. You can make Robert Yates Racing a powerhouse again. It's just, I love this game. It really is the best representation of like a Madden franchise mode in a NASCAR game because you could truly change the whole dynamic of it. So we're not going to be buying teams and just changing them for the sake of it. I do want to do at the end of the playthrough, which I'm hoping we can get to, is to do kind of a Stuart Haas Racing deal where you're a crafty veteran, you've made a lot of money in the series, and then you buy a race team like a small one, like maybe a Michael Waltrip Racing, a Bill Davis Racing, or even like a BAM Racing, and then adding your own car to it, which you can actually hire drivers in this game. They're not real drivers you hire, but it's just this game is amazing. And we would take that and turn it into a powerhouse team within the last few years of the playthrough. But that's what I want to do. I want to make this the most immersive gameplay series you've ever seen. So how we're going to do it? I got the game for the Xbox. I'm going to make sure it tests right because we're going to have to run it on my Xbox 360. The recording software apparently that I use for my Xbox One actually works for the 360 as well, which means, and this is going to be really good for the viewer, I should be able to get at least 720p, if not 1080p, off the OG hardware. I can't confirm that, but from what I've done with initial testing with Xbox 360 games, the same software I use for my Xbox One works with the 360. I don't know how the audio is going to be. I don't know about the imaging. I'll have to test all that out. It might not be perfect because it's not a true emulator. You're using technology that was produced in 05 on a console that was designed in 06 through 2013 with, modern day Elgatos and stuff like that. So I'll have to get the quirks worked out. But if it does go well, we're going to do this. If it doesn't work, the backup plan is to run it on the PS2. The only problem is the PS2 version would be at 480p because it is off a OG PS2. But yeah, man, I have been thinking about this playthrough for a long time, and this is the transition into what it's going to be replacing on the channel. The Thunder 03 series is almost over. We're in what, year 2011, 2012? I mean, we've played that game series a long time. I think what we're going to do is do one more season on that and then cap it off. Jeff Burton has had an amazing career, 100 career wins. There's nothing else he can accomplish in it, so I think we're going to cap that at one more season, and we're going to let that sail off into the sunset. Another thing that's really interesting, and I'm going to throw this Larry McNugget out there, apparently the OG Xbox 360 can backwards compatible play NASCAR 06. And another game it can do is NASCAR Thunder 03, not Thunder 04 for whatever reason. But if we ever wanted to do a Thunder 03 career mode long down the road, we technically could on the Xbox 360 if this recording setup goes well. Again, we're going to test it, make sure it's good quality. So hopefully it works. If it does, that's going to be an awesome gameplay series that's going to have higher definition resolution. It'll still be the same pixelated Xbox PS2 graphics, but it's going to be a better resolution in terms of the recording software because it's not having to it's not having to downscale it because that's how the PS2 version works. It can only push out graphics at 480p. So that's pretty much how no matter what type of hardware you have, if you have an OG PS2 that's not modified, that's unfortunately the limits for it. But yeah, I think the NASCAR 6 playthrough, it's going to be unlike anything you've seen on YouTube. I really do. It is going to be the most immersive, role-play-centric NASCAR gameplay ever done on YouTube. A lot of people that play the NASCAR games, they run like 4 seasons. They win the championship of the modifieds, the trucks, the Busch Series, and eventually the Cup Series, and they just call it quits. Or it's even worse, is they get every single upgrade possible for the Cup Series. They win like 25 out of like 36 races, and it's an absolute snooze fest to watch. And it's the series is so bland that they cut 90% of the racing out because it's just they win the pole, they win the race by 30 seconds, and they do like 10 races in one episode. I don't want to watch that. I want to make it an entertaining thing. And that's another step we're going to do, and I'll try to end the video on this, is NASCAR 06's racing physics is significantly different than Chase for the Cup, Thunder 04, and Thunder 03. It is hit or miss. Some of the tracks you can't even control the cars on. So I'll look around and see how the assists are, and if the last time I played NASCAR 06 was many years ago, so I imagine my racing ability in these PS2 games are a lot better now. But my point is we're going to see how can we get a great racing product without having to use assist. If I have to, that's fine. If I don't have to, that's great. I'm going to try to run it on the hardest difficulty possible. We will be using custom setups if it needs it, because the whole idea is to make it a competitive series, just like the Thunder 04 series, where we win some and we lose a bunch. That's the whole idea of that. Car upgrades, I might not even upgrade the car if it's too much, because I have played Thunder 06 since it literally came out back in late 2005, and I will say sometimes the cars do get OP, so there's no sense in me winning a 1.5 mile race by 15 seconds if I can avoid it. So that's the whole dynamic of it. What do y'all think, guys? Make sure to comment down below. What do y'all think about this video series idea? Again, I'm going to test it. I'm going to see how it goes. If it goes well, that's going to be a super fun series. And NASCAR 06 just doesn't get enough love. There is a glitch in the game that enables you to get double points. And it is a game-breaking bug of all game-breaking bugs, because if you get double points, you can essentially get 20th place points by not even racing, like literally finishing dead last. And if you win a race, you get double. So we're going to try to avoid that. And the way we're going to do so is I will save before we choose a team each year, because apparently it's based on that glitch triggers when you sign with a certain team in the game. It's bugged for whatever reason. So what we're going to do is I'm going to save and make a separate save file before the season even begins. So if we do occur the double points glitch, I will go back to that save file and choose a different path or contract signing, and then I'll either, refilm everything or update or whatnot. So the whole concept of it is that we're going to try to avoid the game-breaking bug that is currently present in NASCAR 06. I do think the Xbox edition of it has different bugs, or maybe even less glitches than the PS2 version, because I can confirm the PS2 version has it. I had the double points glitch, and that's why I stopped playing it. It was like in my, I think, 7th season, and I had double points. I was driving the 24 car for Hendrick and just destroying the whole field. It was not much fun. So the whole concept is to keep it realistic, keep it fun, and hopefully an entertaining series for y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching the video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out when this series could be coming to the channel very soon. So have a great one, everybody. Diecast Buffet, signing off.